This summer, we took a 2-week family road trip. These are days 2 and 3, Amarillo to Denver. We started off the day by visiting an iconic landmark along Route 66 just outside of Amarillo, the Cadillac Ranch. The ranch is free to all and graffiti is encouraged. We didn't bring paint of our own as we were planning to just look, but there were half-full cans of spray paint all over, so the girls picked up a can and enjoyed putting their mark on the cars. First put up as an art installation in 1974, the Cadillac Ranch is made up of 10 Cadillacs ranging in age from 1949 to 1963, buried in the ground from oldest to newest, and was meant to showcase the evolution of the iconic Cadillac tail fin. After making our mark on the Cadillac Ranch, it was back in the car and on the road for the 6-hour drive to Denver. I really enjoyed the rolling hills of the Texas Panhandle, and as we closed in on New Mexico, the hills turned into peaks, marking the transition from the plains to the Rocky Mountains. As we drove further into Colorado, the rain stopped, the clouds began to break, and the sun came out, making for amazing views of the Front Range. We had one afternoon stop to make before we got to Denver, the city of Colorado Springs and Garden of the Gods. Garden of the Gods is a free public park. The incredible rock formations were created millions of years ago by the same forces that formed the Rocky Mountains, then were eroded through the various glacial periods of the Pleistocene era. People have been drawn to the area for thousands of years, and a beautiful June day saw a full parking lot and lots of tourists. We walked a bit to stretch our legs, then continued on the last hour or so to Denver. We took the girls downtown to the state capitol, then had dinner at a sports bar and turned in for the night. Our next day was another full day in the car, but this time only in the Denver area. Because the national parks have been packed this summer, we had to get a timed entry for Rocky Mountain National Park. Our entry time was 11 a.m., which gave us a little room to sleep in before getting started on the 2-hour drive through Boulder and Estes Park. The scenery was amazing as we climbed the Front Range, and we arrived at Rocky Mountain National Park right at 11 a.m.
This is our first stop at Rocky Mountain National Park. This is the alluvial fan and Horseshoe Falls. The girls are over there on the rocks, trying to get a little bit closer to the falls. We're going to look at this again as we get further up the mountain.
After taking in the rushing water of Horseshoe Falls, we drove down into the valley and had lunch, then started making our way up the Trail Ridge Road, also known as US Route 34. The drive west on Trail Ridge Road offers breathtaking views of the mountains and valleys, as well as opportunities to see all kinds of wildlife.
So we just passed through 10,500 feet. It's 2 miles above sea level. Behind me here, this is the alluvial fan. That's where we started the day. So we have climbed over a mile since we got to the park. We're now over 11,700 feet. We're officially above the tree line. We're in the tundra area, and we're about to go to this overlook. There's no trees up here. There's very little that grows up here, except for some pretty little wildflowers and moss and stuff. It's gorgeous up here though. It's about 50 degrees.
The road tops out at just over 12,100 feet before starting its descent down the back side of the park toward Grand Lake.
Take a crap at 12,000 feet.
As you round the last switchback coming down the mountain, the road pulls alongside a gently flowing river that is one of the most powerful forces of nature in the United States. The Colorado River begins in a pass some 6 miles north of the last switchback. This is the same river that carved the Grand Canyon. Just 8 months before our trip, in October 2020, a fire started in the grasslands to the west of Rocky Mountain National Park. Called the East Troublesome Fire, it burned nearly 200,000 acres, including 27 square miles inside the park. The U.S. Forest Service said the fire was human-caused. Whenever we travel, I try to take in baseball games. I love the sport, and I love seeing the different ballparks. These are the ballparks we've visited as a family over the past several years. I've been to a few more in my lifetime. My goal is to get to all the major league ballparks, so on this trip we added a couple more. This game was pretty special. The Rockies pitcher had a no-hitter through 8 innings and ended up throwing a complete game, 1-hit shutout. It was exciting to watch, and the stadium was buzzing. After the game, we headed back to our hotel to get ready for another day of driving. Next up, South Dakota.